Welcome to It's a Crime. I'm Linda, and today we are going to be talking about the GANNON STAUCH case. Looks like Letecia Stauch is pulling more of her tactics, and she's right on time. When it gets a little too quiet for her, she comes out of the woodwork. But before I get into it, if you'd like to be part of the It's a Crime community, please click that subscribe button below, hit that notification bell to all. Please give this video a like and share it out where you can. Now, let's get into it. On Friday, February 19th, 2021, there was a closed hearing with Letecia Stauch. It was a closed-door conflict hearing, so it wasn't open to the public nor to the prosecution, only Letecia and her lawyers. And Letecia was requesting new attorneys. It said that this type of hearing like this could have privileged communications between Letecia and her attorneys, so that's why it's a closed hearing to everyone else. And since this is Letecia we are talking about, I'd like to first define conflict hearing. A conflict hearing is where defendants generally assert a conflict of interest with their legal team severe enough to merit severing ties and getting new lawyers. It'll be interesting to find out what the reason is Letecia has for wanting or acquiring new attorneys. Now, there was a retired defense attorney who was interviewed, and he said that this type of request is usually overseen by a judge who is not affiliated with the case, because they may require defendants to share information that could affect their defense. He also says these type of requests are widely interpreted as delay tactics, and he says they generally face long odds. He says, I think the judges have a sense that if they grant a lot of these motions, they're just going to get more of them, he says. They lean against granting them when they walk in the room. He goes on to talk about what Letecia would have to demonstrate in order to obtain new lawyers. And he says she must demonstrate there has been a disqualifying conflict of interest with her legal team or an irretrievable breakdown in their relationship. He says this is probably a dispute over strategy or whether to take a deal or whether to negotiate or whether the client is competent or not. There could be more than one issue at stake. Now, there wasn't a ruling at this hearing, and so now she'll be in court on Wednesday, February 24th for an Arguello hearing. And this type of hearing is typically used when a defendant wants to or is planning on representing themselves. Maybe Letecia stopped reading tales of Arguello and picked up some law books. So now Michael Allen, district attorney in this case, was also interviewed, and here's what he had to say.
The defendant was wanting to get new counsel. What we got out of it instead was that the court did not make a finding on that and instead set the case back to the original division for an Arguello advisement, which essentially means typically, and I'm speaking general terms here, that somebody wants to represent themselves.
Michael Allen did say that it would be speculation if Letecia will represent herself. But time will tell and we'll see what happens. And with all of Letecia's shenanigans, I wouldn't doubt that she wanted to give that good old Dr. T try. Now, Michael said that even with a change in counsel, it won't change how they prosecute the case. He says, absolutely not. It's still a very serious case. We still have to make sure that we satisfy all the requirements of prosecuting a big case like this, and we will continue to do that. Michael did say that with this Arguello advisement, it can throw off the timeline of a case, but he also didn't mention if it will affect this case. He says we'll have a tall task in front of us. That is making sure that we give any defendant that we have coming through this building is given a fair process, fair trial, given all the discovery. And we'll make sure that happens regardless of what happens with the Arguello advisement and make sure that she has a fair trial and a fair process. So this advisement, like I said, is on February 24th at 3 p.m. and as of the time of this recording, it's actually held tomorrow. And it should be open to the public. Now, Letecia's preliminary hearing is next month on March 11th and 12th, just over a year since she has been arrested. She was arrested on March 2nd, 2020. So I really hope that this is not pushed out. We've been waiting quite some time for this. Now, also in the preliminary hearing, the judge will decide if Letecia will be eligible for bail or not. Let me know if you think she will in the comments below. Now, just as a little info snack, there has been more than 19,900 pages of discovery filed in the case as of June of last year. So I'm not sure where we're at right now. And they said as well as 250 pieces of audio and video evidence, according to the court documents. So, in my opinion, this is another stall tactic. We've seen many tactics from Letecia over the last year, and this one does not surprise me. It is going to be very surprising, but yet at the same time not surprising if she actually wants to represent herself. I think she believes that she can, and I'm sure she's going to give it a shot. I think she'll do everything she can to keep pushing the dates out. I'm sure, though, that the judge is seeing right through that. So it's going to be interesting what happens tomorrow and what happens in the near future. Let's have a chit chat below and talk about this. We know when it gets quiet, we know Letecia starts to act up. It's just her pattern. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Please like and please share. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.